Hello, DCS school families. I'd like to answer a few questions for you concerning next school year. As a father of 3 kids who attend the school and a husband of an educator, I understand the stress and anxiety that some of you may be feeling as we look at the approaching school year. Last year was a stretch for all of us, including my family, as my wife and I both worked and sought to the educational needs of our 3 kids. I can't answer all of your questions or even guarantee that you will agree with all of our decisions, but I hope to provide you with enough information to give you some clarity on what next school year will look like. Our practices and policies which we are implementing are requirements of the Oregon Health Authority, which we must meet in order to open in the fall. The board, the school leadership, and the staff feel it is imperative that we open in the fall in as much of a traditional format as possible. We feel this will allow us to most effectively meet our mission, vision, and values. Our goal next year is to walk that thin line between the requirements of the Oregon Health Authority and creating an environment that is stress, trauma, and anxiety free so that our students can thrive. I hope by answering these 10 questions that they may give you a great sense of clarity in the direction that the school will be going next school year as we seek to educate our kids in a traditional format on our campus. Question 1. Will we have school on campus next school year? Yes, we will have 5 days a week, full day, and face-to-face. Question number 2. Will students be required to wear a mask? No, students will not be required to wear a mask. But if students or the parents of students would like their child or student to wear a mask, they may do so. Question number 3. Will teachers and staff be required to wear a mask? Maybe. It depends on their role, interaction, and personal preference. For those who do or need to wear masks, we are providing clear face shields for those staff members. Question number 4. Will we be socially distancing? We will be spreading out the student seats in the classroom to maintain the 35 square feet per student ratio that is a requirement of the Oregon Health Authority. We will also be spacing kids out during transition times and minimizing those as much as possible. Most of our students will spend most of their academic time in one primary location. This is not unusual for our elementary kids, but will be a change for our secondary kids. We are doing this for 2 primary purposes. 1, several of our classrooms are not large enough to handle the class size in some of our classes. Second, the Oregon Health Authority has strongly encouraged and required cohorting, so we will be trying to keep groups together and not mixing groups up. We normally do a lot of this anyways, but it will be something we make a more concerted effort to maintain meeting the requirements for the Oregon Health Authority. Question number 5. Will students have the regular classes? Absolutely. Our elementary students will still enjoy a wide array of specials, art, music, PE, and library time, as well as many other electives. Our secondary students, likewise, will still enjoy an array of electives offered both online and in person. In addition to this, we are very close to a partnership with Warner Pacific, which would allow our students to earn dual credit, that's both college credit and high school credit, in some of our classes.
Question number 6.
Will we still have recess? Yes, we will still have recess, and our students will still go out at recess and play like they always have. Our students, however, will be in smaller groups. For the most part, most of our groups will be 2 classes. One will be 3. This is to maintain their cohort groups as well. But for the most part, our recesses are not going to change drastically from what they have been in the past.
Question number 7.
What happens if a staff member or student tests positive for COVID-19? The Oregon Health Authority has developed a comprehensive protocol for how to handle this. Our first step is to report to them. Second, they will determine through contact tracing, in other words, who this individual has had contact with, how many more people may need to be quarantined or sent home. These quarantines typically last 2 weeks, or the individual must have 2 negative COVID-19 tests to return back to the school.
Question number 8.
What will happen if we are forced back into distance or digital learning for a considerable amount of time? If this does happen and we were out of school for several months like we were in the spring, we will still use a similar format to what we used last year. However, we will be making some changes based on feedback we've gotten from staff, students, and parents. I am also meeting with the board to discuss a reduction in tuition during this time. We all acknowledge and understand that the parents had to play a much more pivotal role in their students' academic learning during this time, and that put an additional amount of pressure on our parents. While our teachers still were working equally as hard, we understand that the requirements for our parents did go up. So this is something that we are earnestly looking into, and I will have more details for you in the future. Question number 9. Will there be sports next year? This is still an unknown. The OSAA is meeting this week to determine if there will be sports next year. While they may not come to a conclusion, hopefully there will be some information that gives us an indication of the direction they are going. Regardless of the decision they do make, we are pursuing other options for sports next year and other extracurriculars if families and students do want to participate. We do acknowledge and recognize the importance that extracurriculars does play in students emotionally, socially, and physically. We want to make sure that we can provide these opportunities as best we can to our students. Question number 10. Will we be having living classrooms in the fall? Unfortunately, we will not be having living classrooms in the fall. With COVID-19, a number of our venues and lodgings are now closed. In fact, over half are. We felt it was unfair to both our students and our parents to continue moving forward with these significant events and the expenses associated with them if over half of the experiences were taken away from them. Therefore, we'll be postponing the living classrooms to the end of the school year. That way we can use them as a culminating event to celebrate the end of the school year. We are also pursuing some other ways that we may start off the school year that will be unique to Damascus Christian School. They won't replace our living classrooms, but may be another method for us to use to start the school year off and get the kids rolling successfully for the start of a new school year. Although you've already enrolled your student in Damascus Christian School, we need you to submit your financial paperwork this week in order to secure their spot for next school year. Otherwise, we'll assume that you are considering other educational options for your student. First payments are 2 weeks away, and we need to assess if we have any openings in any of our classes. Most of our classes are already full and have a waiting list, but we do have a few classes that have a few spots open. We've had a number of inquiries, tours, and applications for several of our classes, as many parents in our community are not happy with the hybrid model being offered in their local public schools. So we need to have a good idea of where our numbers are and what our numbers will look like in the fall and what spots we have available. If you do choose to unenroll, we can't guarantee that there will be a spot available later on this school year. We have seen a significant increase in the interest of private schools across our community, and with the limited amount of space that most of our schools have, our spots are fairly limited and highly coveted right now. We are excited to welcome students back on campus this fall as we pursue to achieve our mission, vision, and values. Thank you.